Today, we'll be having some fun and getting into what a Disney trip would look like for us if we were to leave for one tomorrow. Hello and welcome to the Let's Go to Disney podcast. I'm Oliver.
And I'm Lucy.
Today is Sunday, February 8th, and you're listening to episode 126, How We'd Do Disney If We Left Tomorrow. Before we get into today's main topic, here's what's going on in the parks right now. The biggest news coming out of Disney this week is that Josh D'Amaro has been confirmed as Disney's next CEO. So this was speculated that, he was the most likely candidate to be successor to Bob Iger. And this is official on March 18th of this year. So about 6 weeks or so from now. So D'Amaro has been with the company since 1998, so nearly 3 decades at this point. And most recently, he had been chairman of Disney Experiences for the last 5 years. So he's already been heavily involved in the parks, kind of scene for a long time already. And actually before that, he was president of Walt Disney World. And before that, he was president of Disneyland. So he's actually been in the park scene for quite some time. Dana Walden will step in as president and chief creative officer. And Bob Iger is going to stay on as senior advisor and board member through the end of this year, just to kind of ensure that smooth transition of, the highest echelons of executives, which just for any organization is a good thing. So it's nice to see that they're doing that as well. And we, like a lot of people, we're fans of Josh D'Amaro, right? He's well-liked among the Disney fan base and he's super well-spoken. And I think a lot of people just kind of like that he's come up within Disney. So he kind of knows the ins and outs of the company. And, he's already, like I said, been involved on the creative side, overseeing, among many other things, Imagineering, which is,
it's a huge part of it.
Exactly. And if you've watched the Imagineering story, you know that the history, those folks have not always had the smoothest transitions with CEOs. So I think that that's going to be just a very natural progression.
Yes.
And
I think he'll have earned his respect already. So I think everybody's going to be very happy. So,
signs point that he's going to be protecting that legacy, which is great to see. And what we will say though is that if anyone is, has the opinion that he's going to completely change the landscape of the parks, I think you're going to be disappointed, right? I've seen some comments online like bring back the Magical Express or cuts prices. I don't think that's going to happen. Disney's in the business and, if things are going well, he's not about to change that. And also kind of on that vein too, it's important. He's been chairman of Experiences, right? So it's not like he's not been a part of the decisions that have happened in recent years. He, of course, has been a part of it, if not, the driving factor in a lot of these decisions, which is not a bad thing. There's a ton of expansions and development coming to the parks on both coasts. And, that future appears bright for sure. But, the things that maybe are a little bit less popular, that also comes from him or at least partially him. So just food for thought.
Absolutely.
Dinoland USA is now officially and completely closed for good. They have had phased closures for months at this point.
Feels like it's been a very long time.
It is. It's been a delayed ending, but now there is nothing left of the fan favorite land. The reimagined Indiana Jones attraction and the Tropical America's Land theme to Encanto is what is going to open in its place. That's going to be sometime in 2027. So expect walls upon walls over
it's
the
Epcot.
Yeah, exactly. When it was Walcott, right? But that's going to be just the case for the next year plus here at Animal Kingdom.
And then still at Animal Kingdom, the most recent annual pass holder magnet is available for pickup at Discovery Trading Company from now until March 15th. The magnet features Nick Wilde and Judy Hopps from Zootopia.
I will not be there to pick this one up, but a good friend of mine is going to be down there with his wife during this time frame. And he said that they would be willing to give up one of theirs, which is really awesome and really kind of them. So shout out to Sean and Jenny.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. We have a collection of them on our fridge, so that one goes perfectly with
Exactly, yeah.
Frozen Ever After will officially open on February 12th. It'll feature the refreshed animatronics that we learned about a few months ago. We're actually really looking forward to seeing what the changes look like. So good news for those of you with Frozen fans in your party who are traveling there soon. Like I said, February 12th, opening date again.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then over in California, Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift is set to open in the summer of 2026 over there at Universal Hollywood. We will be watching this one very closely because Universal is getting not identical, but a very similar attraction to replace the Rip Ride Rocket Roller Coaster at Universal Studios Florida. And goodbye to that one. I did not like that one.
Yeah, it was pretty rough, right? So yeah, I'm not upset
to see it. Too much for me.
Yeah, I'm not upset to see that one go. It's going to be a nice change.
Yeah.
And it's going to be nice to have hopefully a good Fast and Furious
No offense
attraction.
to the current one. Ooh.
Yeah, supercharged, we're not huge fans.
Yeah.
So with that said, let's get into today's main topic, which will be what trip we would want to take if we were planning it today. So we thought we'd have a bit of fun with it and talk about what that trip would look like for us at this stage in our lives, in the hopes that it might give you, some inspiration as to how you might want to structure your trips. So this will be the trip we want. So we're not going to include like budget breakdowns or best case scenarios or anything like that, just purely what we would actually do. So it's not the perfect Disney trip. It's the one we genuinely want that's still within like the realm of being reasonable.
Absolutely. So first up, let's talk about our travel day. So for us coming from Regina, Saskatchewan, we have very few options when it comes to direct flights. But around springtime, they do add a once a week direct route, which is actually very nice for us. It leaves here around 8 or 9 o'clock. And with the time change, it gets us to Orlando in the early afternoon. A full week is what we normally plan. That's a good amount of time just to get lots of park time in and then some downtime to enjoy the other offerings around the property as well.
Yeah, exactly. We would take an Uber from MCO to our resort, right? When you factor in the cost of like Mears Connect, for example, for a family of 4, it equates to about the same, if not more, than an Uber from the airport. So just for reference, that's $16 for adults and $13 per child one way plus tax. And the cost of an Uber on average in our experience is somewhere in that $40 to $60 range on average. So it's on par and it's also much quicker. So we would definitely do that. And where would we be taking that Uber to? Well, we'd be taking it to Disney's Beach Club Resort.
Absolutely, 100%. So Beach Club is an Epcot area resort, and in our opinion, it is one of, if not the best resort for location. You are literally a 2-minute walk from the International Gateway entrance to Epcot. It's right on the boardwalk, so you have really easy access to Yacht Club right next door, and then the Boardwalk Inn, which is across the water on the other side of the boardwalk. There is also a ton of dining options all along the boardwalk there as well. And then you have a ton of transportation options, which is another reason why this resort is so great. You are steps away from the Skyliner at the International Gateway entrance, which gives you that easy access to the resorts on the Skyliner route and then a way easier access to get to Hollywood Studios. There's also the friendship boats that are going to take you to and from Hollywood Studios. Or if you don't mind walking, there's actually a walking path that leads you from the boardwalk all the way to Hollywood Studios. So if you're keeping count, you have the Skyliner, boats, and walkable to both parks.
Yeah, and when we say close, like we mean close, like a 2-minute walk, like if that.
Absolutely. It's so perfect.
There's that little hill that goes up and down, and the Skyliner is there, and then it's literally the
right
turnstiles to enter the park.
It is so convenient.
Yeah. And another reason we would want to pick this resort is for Stormalong Bay. So this is the pool area at Beach Club, and it's hands down the best on Walt Disney World property. It's not close. There's a massive shipwreck that has a 230-foot slide and a lazy river, and it's just the whole thing, and it's awesome. And outside of that, you also have a couple of really solid dining options right in the lobby here as well. Beaches and Cream is a diner-style restaurant that's pretty popular. It obviously does dessert very well, which is, like think decadent sundaes and ice cream treats and all that. Cape May Cafe is also a great option. They have a character breakfast here that's actually pretty underrated in our opinion. It's worth coming out of your way for. So if you're staying here, it's just a no-brainer.
Absolutely. And honestly, for us and for a lot of folks, sometimes location means more than the resort itself. So, for example, Caribbean Beach is not our favorite moderate resort, but we would stay there because it's on the Skyliner. Having said that, we've also stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge because we absolutely love the resort, but it was definitely not because of location, because it's kind of off on its own out there by Animal Kingdom. So it just depends on what we're looking for out of each trip, but it is pretty hard to beat Beach Club's location. Plus, the vibes at that resort are absolutely great, and the boardwalk is such a beautiful area of property. Like, there's so much, like, even sand area where you can go sit on.
Yeah, there's like a sandy beach
chairs.
area right in front of Beach Club.
It's just it gives you kind of, those just beachy resort vibes.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And it's Crescent Lake, I think, is what the water is called there. And just a beautiful boardwalk.
Yeah.
And actually,
it's always lit up at night and it just looks so great.
Oh, at night it's super nice. And like I ran there for the marathon,
That's
the half and the full run by there. And it was just, it was
picturesque.
still dark out. It was super nice. Yeah, absolutely. But what we will say is that we would probably not prioritize Beach Club as much if the kids weren't with us. We'd probably still pick a boardwalk area resort because of the area itself. But the resort itself would matter a little less at that point because we don't spend a lot of time, if at all, at the pools when it's just you and I. But on our arrival day with the kids at Beach Club, we would likely check in and then head straight to the pool and hang out there until dinner time. We'd likely eat at Beaches and Cream that first night, swim a bit more after dinner, and then have our first park day the next day. And with that, let's get into park priorities. So we would more than likely start with Animal Kingdom. And this is more of a recent thing for us since they changed Genie Plus to Lightning Lane Multipass. So before you could visit the parks in any order that you wanted because you couldn't book Lightning Lanes ahead of your trip. And we would normally start with Magic Kingdom
every
at that
single
point.
time, yeah.
And you still can start with any park that you want, but there's some strategy here. So now that you can book Lightning Lanes ahead of your visit, we would normally start with Animal Kingdom because if we were purchasing Multipass, it's the least competitive of the 4 parks when it comes to booking Lightning Lanes.
Absolutely. And if we did buy Multipass, there are no tiers at Animal Kingdom. So we would likely book Navi River Journey, Kilimanjaro Safaris, and Expedition Everest. And then we would rope drop Flight of Passage like we always do, hit those attractions standby first thing, and then go back and ride them a second time with our Lightning Lanes. The only one we don't always ride a second time is the Safaris.
Yeah,
sometimes like you got to get that one in nice and early though, folks, because that's when the animals are like the most active, I find.
For sure.
So that's always the good one.
And we don't feel like we need to do that one more than once in a day.
Yeah, agreed. Exactly. So we don't usually do a single pass for Flight of Passage because we are rope dropping it. But if the wait time is under an hour, we may jump in and ride it a second time as well. We always usually do one of the shows, either Nemo or Festival of the Lion King. Love that one. And then outside of rope drop first thing in the morning, we never, ever feel rushed on our Animal Kingdom days. It's actually one of the most relaxed parks in our opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with that. And for food, we would more than likely do lunch at Satu'li Canteen or Flame Tree Barbecue. That's our go-tos, especially Satu'li Canteen. And depending how busy it is, we might also stop at Nomad Lounge for lunch and some fun drinks.
Oh, yes.
That's a go-to for us. If we had the kids, we would be less likely to stop. Not that we wouldn't. We still would. But if it's you and me, we almost certainly are stopping here.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, and then we actually rarely stay too late at Animal Kingdom. We'll normally head back to the resort and have either like a resort night or head into Disney Springs for some shopping and dinner on our Animal Kingdom days.
And this may be subject to change once the new land opens
for
up.
Sure.
Because then that's just going to be a whole new world to explore, especially the first time we ever see it. I could see us spending a whole day at Animal Kingdom at that point.
We would definitely be more likely to stay longer. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So that park's got a lot of up and coming stuff coming its way.
It sure does. Yep. And then when we do have dinner at Disney Springs on our Animal Kingdom days, there's like a ton of good options to choose from, obviously, right? But some of our favorites are Homecoming, Raglan Road, Summer House on the Lake, Wine Bar George, Frontera Casina, among a few others.
So many good options.
Our second day would be more than likely Epcot. Again, this is because of Lightning Lane Multipass. After Animal Kingdom, Multipass is the least competitive here. So that's the main reason we would slot it here in the trip. If we bought Multipass for Epcot, we would book Remy's Ratatouille Adventure as our Tier 1 and then Soarin' and Spaceship Earth as our Tier 2. If you're wondering why I'm mentioning Soarin' as a Tier 2, it's because when Test Track reopened, it bumped Soarin' back down to a Tier 2, and now Test Track is the other Tier 1.
Top contender.
Yeah, exactly. That would be Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, Soarin', and Spaceship Earth. We always get the single pass for Guardians because we're going to take as many opportunities to ride it as we can. And
I think our record as a family on a full week trip, I think we rode it like 7 times.
Yeah. Multiple days.
Yeah. Yep. So that's our favorite ride.
Between
so we
standby,
will take every
queues.
option.
Yeah.
And then for Epcot, we would obviously rope drop it. So depending on where we're staying, that's going to determine where we go first. But if we are coming from Beach Club, we are definitely rope dropping Remy's because it's right next to the International Gateway entrance. After that, we would more than likely head to Frozen because Sophia is still very much a fan. And then maybe Test Track or start using our Lightning Lanes and then grab that one a little later, like Test Track, I mean.
Yeah, and the others, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Our usual Epcot strategy is to go hard in the morning until the food booths open. Then we are going to snack a little bit instead of having an actual lunch. And then we'll do some rides here and there in between. So since we're staying at Beach Club, we would more than likely go back mid-afternoon for a swim just because it's literally so easy to get back there. Just a 2-minute walk. So we would go back into the park after for supper. Our go-to table services for supper are Space 220 because the kids absolutely love that one. And we do too. The food is really good up there. We also really like La Hacienda de San Angel as well. That's in the Mexico Pavilion. Delicious food.
Yeah, for sure.
And then a shout out also to Via Napoli.
Yes.
Another great
for
one,
sure.
right? Another great one.
Love the
Their
pizza
pizza
there.
is so good
It's
there.
just
and
like
it's
classic-
just chill vibes.
Yeah, and it's I find it rowdy in there. It's so loud.
You're right. The one we were sitting in that glass
Yeah,
area.
it's at the front.
That was
Yeah.
a great spot. If
Yeah,
we could
'cause
sit
it's
there
off-
every time.
It's off to the side.
You're right.
That was
It does
really
get pretty
nice.
rowdy in there because it's just lots of. You can sit so many people in there. So I
Yeah.
think people with like 10 or more to
And
their
it's like a
party
big-
like to go there.
Yeah, it's in a big cavernous space
Yes,
too with high
very
ceilings.
loud.
So yeah, it's like echoey.
But
yeah,
totally worth it for the pizza. It's so good.
great pizza for sure, for sure. And yeah, depending, what food crawl is going on, depending on what time of year it is, right? We're definitely going to prioritize that with our
Absolutely.
passports. And I'm also always going to pick up Werther's caramel popcorn from Caramel Cucce. And that's an every time thing because I just love it so much.
And we're not big drinkers, but if you're in the Germany pavilion, we also love the beer there, the grapefruit beer.
The Schafferhofer
Yeah.
grapefruit beer.
we
Yeah.
usually try and grab that one too.
Yeah, super good. And then we would more than likely stay for Luminous as well on this night. We like seeing it at least once per trip. And since we're staying at Beach Club, we wouldn't rush out because, again, super easy to get back to the resort at the end of the night. Our next day would be Hollywood Studios. This is another rope drop morning for us for sure. We never not rope drop. It's like, unless it's just true rest day,
I think
we're
we would
always
have
rope.
FOMO.
Yeah.
Like if we actually said the night before, let's not rope drop, we would still rope drop
We would still
because we
rope
would have
drop.
such FOMO.
And I think we've done that before. We're like,
Oh, yeah.
we're not going to
Oh,
rope
yeah.
drop, but we showed up at like 8:15 and it was
Yeah.
still rope drop. But-
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And we would definitely be booking multipass for Hollywood Studios. So Slinky Dog would be our tier 1, then Tower of Terror and Toy Story Mania for our tier 2s. Nothing else makes sense in our opinion for our family at least. With the kids, we would also rope drop Slinky Dog to ride it twice, right? After that, we might head to Sunset Boulevard to do Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster, and maybe even squeeze in Mickey and Minnie's before it gets too busy.
You can do it. It's possible.
Yeah, you have to move, but
You have to
it's
boogie, but
definitely
yeah.
it's definitely doable. And then we'd ride them again, obviously, a second time with our lightning lanes.
Absolutely. And then we will sometimes do the single pass for Rise, but not always. We'll sometimes keep an eye on the wait time. And when it's not too bad, we're just going to jump in line at that point. We're more than likely going to do some shows too, because there's epic shows at Hollywood Studios. We always make time for this on our Hollywood Studios Day. So since the kids and I have yet to see the Villains show and the Little Mermaid show, we would probably do these ones for sure. But as a family, we really, really love Indiana Jones. We also love Frozen and Beauty and the Beast. And we've said this so many times, but Hollywood Studios shows are the best. Hands down, they win for
sure.
shows. I'm sorry, but they do.
So many good ones. Yep.
We're also going to sometimes do a Topolino's brunch when we're at Hollywood Studios. But because we're slotting in a full rest day on this trip, we would more than likely do that on our rest day. So we'll just stay at Hollywood Studios all day long.
Agreed. Yep.
And if we are staying at Hollywood Studios for supper, our go-to is Sci-Fi. It's not even close. This is by far our favorite in the park.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, Fantasmic is absolutely fantastic. Amazing. So we would definitely be staying for that one as well. The kids absolutely love that show.
Yeah, for sure. And there's no need to go super early over there, because it's like a
It's true.
amphitheater, right?
Yeah.
And it's quite a walk to get there. But there's lots of seating and no really bad seats anywhere in the house. So yeah, don't feel like you need to
We've
go
been there
super
like an
early.
hour before, and it was like, oh gosh, this
Yeah,
was too
and we've
early.
also showed up like 10 minutes
Yep,
before, and we still
and scored.
Yeah, exactly. A decent seat. So this would be another late night, obviously. So our next day would definitely be our rest day, and it lands pretty much in the middle of the trip, which is perfect. So
This is sounding like a great trip so
I
far.
know, right? We should take it. So on rest days, we'll sleep in, but that's a loose term in our family because we're all pretty early risers. 8 would probably be the absolute latest that any of us would sleep, even after going to bed pretty late. We'd likely book Cape May Cafe breakfast on this day because we're staying there. And like we said, that's a no-brainer. And that would pretty much be a pool day, right? So we'd be there for the rest of the morning and most of the afternoon. And, after having been there all day, once we've all got our soak of the sun, we'd all get cleaned up and head out for a nice dinner. We might do dinner at Disney Springs on this night, or even, somewhere around the boardwalk, since we've already been to Disney Springs in this trip. And, that could be like Cake Bake Shop or Yachtsman's Steakhouse, or even actually go into Epcot and have dinner there.
Absolutely. This isn't something we talk about a lot, but if we were to do nighttime activities at Disney Springs, we would likely do Splitsville for some bowling or checking out the Drawn to Life Cirque du Soleil show. This would be the night to do that. Your rest day is a good time to do activities like that. Also think mini golf. That's also another fun one to do during the day as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But we also would say that if we were to turn in early because we're all exhausted from our first 3 days, this would definitely be the day that we would do that as well. Absolutely.
Agreed 100%. Because we've talked about, I think we talked about it last week.
Yeah.
We've definitely pushed the family super hard where we're all
Too hard, yeah.
Super tired.
Yeah.
So having a day like this in the middle where you take it easy, you get some extra sleep, it sets up the rest of your trip.
And also like on a rest day, our kids are in the pool like almost all
Yeah.
day. So that
So
in
it's not-
itself is like,
it's not really a
it's
rest
so
day,
fun for them, but
yeah,
like they're in the sun the whole time,
Yeah.
moving around a lot. So
Yeah,
they
yeah.
are tired by the
For
end
sure.
of the day.
agreed. Yep.
And then the next day, which if you're keeping count, would be our 5th day. This is going to be our Magic Kingdom day. And we can easily make that a whole day for us, and we often do. We'll be getting multi-pass, and we'll likely book Peter Pan as our tier 1, and then Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean as our tier 2s. We would rope drop Seven Dwarfs as well. We always do this regardless of if we have the kids with us or not.
Yep, exactly. We would also get single passes for Tron, but we would aim to get those after the sun goes down because it's the most fun to ride
So
at night
fun, yeah.
with the lighted canopy,
Yeah.
right? After Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, we would head to Peter Pan and then into Liberty Square or Adventureland to ride Haunted Mansion, Jungle Cruise, and Pirates. And of course, Big Thunder when that reopens. If it's open, that's where we're going first.
Absolutely.
After that, we would chip away at our lightning lanes, right? Hitting a lot of these for a second time. And for food, we would more than likely have our favorites, right? Which is the fresh fruit hazelnut spread, but it's Nutella.
It's really Nutella.
The waffle from Sleepy Hollow or the giant cinnamon roll from Gaston's Tavern. These are, we usually get.
Our kids love them just as much as we do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we usually get at least one, if not both, during
Yeah.
our trip. We would more than likely check out the Festival of Fantasy Parade as well at some point during the day, either at noon or 3 p.m., depending what's going on, and then maybe stop somewhere for a more substantial lunch like Columbia Harbor House has some good options.
they do. Yep.
In the late afternoon, we might head out of the park to check out one of the monorail resorts and do dinner there, something like Ohana or the new Wailulu Bar and Grill over at the Polynesian or, Steakhouse 71 at the Contemporary or, something like that.
Yeah, Grand Floridian also has a really good buffet.
1900 Park
Thank
Fair.
you. I was
Yeah.
forgetting it. We ate there with the kids, and that's a character meal as
Yeah.
well. That's a really good option for people
Yeah.
as well.
Good
It was
food, too.
good food, really
Yeah.
good food for a buffet. We were
Yeah.
impressed. And then we're likely going to make our way back to the park to ride a few more rides, including our single pass for Tron. And then we would definitely stay for Happily Ever After. That's always the perfect way to end a Magic Kingdom day. And our last park day is kind of a mix of anything we want to do again, really, which would probably be a split between Hollywood Studios and Epcot. We would definitely want to ride Guardians again, if not twice. You never know.
Yeah, exactly.
And then finish any of the food crawl snacks that we hadn't done yet because it's tough to do it all in one day.
For sure.
Your stomach can only expand so much.
Exactly. Yep.
We'd probably spend some time at the resort as well, enjoying Stormalong Bay before we had to leave. We would likely end the day at the resort as well, probably eat something just around that boardwalk area, get most of our packing done, just so that we can throw our last minute things in the day that we do have to leave.
Yeah, exactly. Which would be the next morning.
Yeah.
So normally we're on an early flight out of Orlando so that we don't get home too late, right? And we always take an Uber back to the airport. That's just the quickest and again, most cost efficient way for us. And yeah, that would be our trip if we were to plan one like, soonish.
Yeah. And with a lot of pivoting, because as we've said in previous episodes, your days can't always go
For sure.
exactly how you want. You have to pivot sometimes. Rides break down,
For sure.
Like I said, the funniest one ever was Sci-Fi Diner. We were waiting for our reservation that one day and they had a kitchen fire.
Yeah.
Everybody was fine, I think.
Yeah.
But they had to close the rest of the day. And boy, did we have to pivot because we
That's
were
right.
hungry at that point.
No, and that's the thing. We were going to stay for Phantasmic.
we
and
had a whole plan.
Exactly. But we're like, okay, let's cut our losses. We
Yeah.
actually ended up going back to Animal Kingdom Lodge,
That's
which
right.
is where we were staying.
And we ate
at Boma.
and
Yeah.
it was delicious.
Yeah.
And we didn't have the kids with us that time, so that was a little bit easier to
Pivot.
because
Yeah.
kids always make it a little bit harder to pivot, especially if they have their heart set on something, right?
Yep.
But that's just knowing that all that could happen when you're there,
No,
right?
for sure.
It will never be the perfect trip, but it can always be a magical one.
Yeah, agreed 100%. And, this hypothetical trip, we are aiming to do something very similar, hopefully in October.
Yes, that is our goal at this time.
Yeah, so it could be that in October when we get back, we're doing a trip report that's very similar to this
Yeah.
episode or different. We don't know. But yeah. A couple of things to keep in mind when you're planning your own trips, though, is that there's no right or wrong here, right? So you know your family best and what, everyone is most likely to enjoy. Your trip should match your energy as well, right? So what I mean by that is if you're not early risers and the whole family is going to be super miserable waking up early, then by all means, go in later and stay later, right? You're probably going to be all better off for it.
This is a shout out to Chris and Andrea for that statement because I know you guys aren't early risers. So
Yeah.
that one's for you.
Yeah, exactly. People,
They're going next month.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? People usually make like huge plans because they feel like that's what they have to do when really you only need to plan what you think you're actually going to enjoy. So just make it be your trip.
Absolutely. If planning feels heavy, just maybe ask yourself, if I was going tomorrow, what would I actually want to do? And that's probably a good gauge of what you actually want to get out of your vacation.
Yeah, 100%. Because it's easy to kind of sell yourself on something when
yeah.
it seems far away, right? But if you kind of put yourself in the mindset of, what can I actually accomplish tomorrow? What would I want to do tomorrow? Like in a much tighter time frame, you can be a little bit more realistic with your expectations.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to always have like a plan, but it's also like sometimes fun to just get lost in the parks.
Yeah.
In a sense of what I mean is like just, oh, okay, let's go this way, see what's over here. Because sometimes you'll find these hidden gems that you didn't even know about. And you're like, this is amazing.
No, for sure. Like a good rule of thumb or like good principles to follow is, have a good understanding of how things work, right? So that could be lightning lanes, transportation, whatever, just so that you're not, getting
a good
lost.
Layout,
exactly. So you're not getting lost in those details when you get there. And, have a loose plan so that you have some structure, but leave some, like Lucy's saying, leave some room for some spontaneity because, some magic happens.
That's the best time is spontaneity. We've had some of the best times on last minute change of plans. Like, honestly, I'm not even kidding you.
For sure. Some of the best evenings or like the end of days have been where we've
completely different.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So with that said, thank you for joining us today to talk Disney. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. And as always, if you could leave us a rating and review, it would be greatly appreciated. If you choose to do so, you can leave reviews right on Apple Podcasts. And for Spotify, you can leave a rating.
You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Let's Go.to-Disney, as well as on our Facebook page, Let's Go to Disney. We share some helpful reels here as well as some fun ones. The link tree in the show notes will take you to all of our socials.
Have a great day and we'll see you real soon.